Well, good morning and welcome to Mayor Crane's last IMC meeting. You guys are still in the fold. It is September 9th, 2025. It is a Tuesday at 1:34. We're going to call the meeting to order. Additions and or amendments to the agenda. I don't believe we have any, but I will ask the committee. Any additions? Administration, anything? Nothing? All good? All right, thank you. Then I'll take a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll give you that.
Barb gives us that. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of the agenda C1. Intermunicipal committee. Oh, that was Alan. Sorry, my bad.
I'll give you the adoption minutes.
There you go. Thank you. All in favor? And that is good. And we are on to the business. Master Shared Service Agreement. Very large word for a great big document. Adam.
Thanks, Chair. I think I can perhaps just summarize E1, 2, 3, and 4, depending on how much detail you want to go in. But yeah, as we know, we've been negotiating for the last year, and I think from administration's perspective and looking over at Ryan as well, that yeah, I think we have a good agreement that we want to present to the committees for recommendation to recommend to both councils for approval. These agreements are yeah, fair and set the terms for a good relationship for the next few years.
Okay. Committee, any concerns, any questions for clarity? Anything we want to discuss in detail? All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just on page 16 and page 50, it's Court of King expansion now.
Oh.
That's the teacher in the editing.
I have a few questions of clarity throughout.
Yes, please.
Or some errors too. So the intermunicipal committee and the definitions is 3 councillors. Does that mean, are we still keeping it 2 and an alternate? Is that the 3? Or are we increasing to 3?
No, I think we were, if I can, Mr. Chair, we were 2 with an alternate.
Plus an
I
alternate.
think that's
Okay.
what I understand.
So that
Does that read?
It just says intermunicipal committee means a committee of 3 councillors and the CIO each from the town of the county.
We should say 2 members and
And
one alternate.
alternate.
Yeah.
That should be.
Yeah, because that's what we agree with.
Yes.
Is there a specific page on that one?
I will see like the ones.
It's on page 4. Section D. Definition of intermunicipal committee.
So I just wanted to get some clarity also on 7.2, the implementation of cost sharing of new and existing services. Like, you've been paying us for a server, or we've been paying you for service, but we're not phasing anything those in, right?
It's just current.
It's just a curling.
Just the curling, but here it's saying it'll include library, transportation, and the net difference caused by the new fire services agreement. And the community recreation program services, including curling and associated costs. So it sounded like it was including all of it if I was on how I was reading it.
I have to take library out.
Library's gotta come down, and this is only intended to be for anything new that's not cost sharing. So I don't
So
think,
the implementation of cost sharing new and existing services shall be phased in over 3 years. So that needs some reworking.
yeah, we could take out the word existing, because it really, the intent
Yeah.
that we've always discussed at the table has been
Yeah, that's what I thought.
new services, not existing. So
And we can't talk about libraries.
curling would be one that would be based in, as an example.
All right, so taking out transfer station and library. What about the net difference caused by the new fire services agreement? I thought that's an existing service.
It's existing, so the difference from this is signed in 25, 24, 25, 26, or essentially status quo from our understanding.
Okay, so can we get that updated? So it's just existing services and curling is the only thing. Curling associated costs. As well as any other services not previous to it. The last line's good. It's all we think. 7.2A.
Rock that either.
I didn't catch that last little bit. Sorry. Yeah, I lost your voice. I got to remove the library and remove and existing.
Oh, yeah, user search. That was my next thing.
Just gonna make sure we got it.
Search for library
Okay, so library needs to be removed entirely.
from the entire document. Any references to the library need to be removed.
Yeah.
Keep that another one.
Okay.
And
And you got one? Okay, let's move off 7.2, make sure the wording's good first, because what we can do is as amended
Yeah.
today, and then we can move ahead.
Yeah.
So let's just reread 7A, so everyone knows what we're saying, so, it'll read, if you could.
The information cost sharing, new services shall be phased in over a 3-year period. Equal percentages of the eligible costs, less usually determined otherwise by both the town and the county. Specific services to be phased in over a 3-year period upon signing this agreement will include the curling rink and associated costs as well as any other services.
Good,
Okay.
Brian, said it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And then down to 10, the payment of GST. Talks about the payments from county to the town. Are we paying anything to you that we need to also state that should be GST versus you guys funding services?
Station.
Yes. Should we have it versus vice versa?
That could just be in vice versa.
Comma, vice versa.
By the parties.
By the parties, okay, all amounts payable by the parties, yeah, there shall be.
Yeah.
All right.
Covers this.
Yeah, sounds good.
There might be other references to GST in some of the other ones, so you might double check if you can search that. And 12.1, we're missing a day, and in the middle, such determination shall be subject to a 16-day cure period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Schedule E, so it's page 5 and 94, 25. Just wondering about the 2025 date under agreement, amendment, or termination. Is it 2025 or is it always December 31st of every year? Wasn't sure what this line was referring to.
What's the number on it?
Schedule B. Special services agreements table deadlines. Is that like an annual that you agree to amend by December 31st of every year, or is it only 2025?
Page.
Yeah.
25 and 94. Oh, okay. 19 of them.
Yeah,
I didn't know if people want the number in the document, like this, the agreement or the number of.
Yeah.
Card.
I think we just said
Yeah.
strike 2025.
Okay.
Just similar now, our population, it's 31st of every year. This would be by December 31st of every year too for those intent.
Okay.
So matched.
And it's October 15th. To work are it reasonable for us to be hitting our budget? I just know that we always seem to be into November.
So, yeah, this is where it's a bit tricky, right? So it's more the intent to say, here is generalities, right? Yeah, otherwise, after the budget's actually set, then of course we'll have to share the actual after, but it just gives both parties the heads up to say, do we see any changes next year? Here's where we're going. And then, of course, both councils are subject to
Changing it.
budgets.
Okay. So you're okay with the draft of what's going to come towards the council? Us sharing drafts that originally by that for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move because if anything, it puts a little priority for us to make sure we've got the MD's interests covered in the preemptive budget. And likewise, you're getting numbers saying, oh good, at least I got time to balance costs. We're saying the same,
Right.
for any council facility agreements. But yeah, so I think October's good.
Then on page 34 of 94, you have a package. There's a 4.3 feature about a regional collaboration study on the feasibility of regional garbage collection and recycling. Like we did that study already. It's very old. Yeah.
That place's got a history.
Sorry, which document is that?
Strike.
It's page 8 of the Master Shared Services Agreement Report Schedule A.
Very on the agenda, Brenda.
I need it by document.
No, page 8. Oh, I don't know by document because that's the third number. Master Shared Services.
And sorry, which section?
I'm just going scrolling through.
Page 8.
Okay, I got it.
34 and 94. AG.
So it's 4.3 is the section.
Yep. Still good.
And that same one in 7.5, we have a step 1 that's sort of regional.
Where's that sitting? Right.
11.5 questionnaire template in that master shared services agreement report, so page 11. Stop. The next one, I was a little concerned about, like, if there's a change in the fire services that you post, so 4.3, page 43, 94. This is the, I have a headache, so fire agreement, Foothills County and Town of Diamond Valley. On issue or abide of party and termination, that it's one public notice regarding the termination, so this is the local newspaper. I wonder if you'd be willing to increase that to 2. If there's something so major, I'd be
Yes,
at 2.
Oh, I'm saying it's 4.2.
Yeah.
It's 4.3. Text me. Good with that, Mark?
Yes,
Yeah. 2. Okay.
I agree too.
Notice this.
On page 50, 8.4, the parameters. Just the ration of the population is supposed to be a ratio of 8.4. I just wanted to make sure I've got clarity. So we're including the numbers from Longview. And then anything, because we do sometimes that respond out for this area, we're not using that for the population, that's under a different, like, shared service agreement, then that's not it. How does for this mutual aid, that's how populations work, all right? So it's above and beyond this contract. Sure. That was right. Yeah, I just wanted to do that's it. Scrolling.
Apologies, sir. I kind of just combined the 4 items together since they're all the same.
Yeah, they're all. Yeah, GST might be that might have been another document if someone wants to.
I think that's 10.1 on page 52, same thing. And if you just change it to by the parties.
Should feed around, I've got 47 to 89, so it's 8.4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says plus the loan, third sentence, plus the loan fire district and shades. You have population? Yes, fashion, yeah. Oh, we got that one. Yeah, good. Okay. Oh my, good.
Okay, let's go, thank you for that. Let's go back to 5.2 or 6, did you say?
5.6. 6 we can ask you what it's referring to.
Oh, okay, it was just in
Yeah.
slide.
And then as we were scrolling through, I picked up on page 29, agenda data and so on. It's a reference to the new mutual agreement that's in the package. It says that six is the kind of agreement. If the intent is actually to start that right away. So not liability protection, right? So change that to 2020. That's the thing.
Sorry, where was that?
Page 29 of the agenda, the second bullet point right at the top of the page.
Which document is that in?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was
In
putting
the-
plain
In
open.
the report, the Master Shared Services Agreement report. Page 7 in the
Thank you.
section 2.3.2. What do you like to see?
It's page 33 of me and page 29 for you, so yeah, all got different.
It's always fun when you're starting.
Yeah.
It's page 7 in the minutes, just a bullet point, says 2026 is the date of the agreement. So the agreement comes into effect the date of signature.
Yeah, terminating April 2022.
Well,
Nice. Okay. Well, let me just scroll back here, seeing some art coming together. Okay, so E1 is Master Shared Service Agreement. E2 is Master Shared Services. 3 is Fire Service Agreement. 4 is Mutual Aid. And E5 will be a separate one that we're going to fire. And E6 will be separate. So under E1, 2, 3, and 4, as Cindy just did, does anyone have anything else to put forward for amendment or ask for clarity? Specifically, I just say thanks for all the hard work. Obviously, we were in the wrong patch there, and it didn't look like this was going to happen. And I am so thankful that we just let it happen, and we got to where we're at now. So, thank you guys for having cool heads and really taking it one step at a time and making it happen. So, good job. Delilah?
I was just going to say, we always appreciate working with you, and we knew we could come to some kind of an arrangement, and we just needed to hammer it out, and here we are. So it's really, really good news for everyone.
Thanks.
Do we motion to send these reports to our respective councils for signing or for approval?
Yeah, let's do them individually, E1, E2, E3, E4. And then it'll go on to E5 and have a conversation, because I think that's just going to be a broad moving forward what the next year is going to be looking like, right? So, okay, so I'll give you the first one for E1, Master Shared Service Agreement. Move that be adopted as amended. And we have all the amendments covered. All in favor? And that is carried. E2, Master Shared Service Report.
I'll give you that as amended.
Brian gives us that. As amended, all in favor? And that is carried. Fire Service Agreement. Gives us that. We did have the smallest of amendment though.
Yeah, I think that one, I don't know if it was one of the next one, but
There was
I
like
think that
one
was
point in there.
Yeah.
Rico and Russia.
Yeah, so it is amended. There you go.
and she
And
and she has
GST, there you go. Excellent. All in favor? Excellent. And mutual aid.
I don't know if there's an amendment on that one. I can't remember.
Yeah.
They were all-
I think that one's good.
I
You
don't
stopped
have
at
any.
page 50.
Okay.
We'll call
I
you
got
Stuart.
tired.
Yeah. Yeah. All in favor? And that's carried. All right. E5 is intermunicipal development plan. Obviously, new community, and we have Colts Crossing, which put this onto the radar. Yeah, go for
Or
it.
sorry, Mr. Chair, I just want to clarify just so everyone knows. So for these 4 will go to the next council meeting down in the Valley. So that will be on the agenda this Thursday for council decision next Wednesday. So,
Okay. Yeah, because we do have a special poll. But that's okay. No
we'll meet that.
Not the thing, all of it. When you meet your guys.
Yeah.
And it'll be the same for Foothills County.
Yeah.
And we've got it on our agenda for next Wednesday, so we'll be reviewing it on the same date.
Good, I had the leg up, we've already read it, so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's already in the bag,
We're
yeah.
good. Yeah, exactly. We're good to go. Sit back and nod. No, Jonathan will probably tear it apart, right?
Give it to them early.
No, it's all good. Okay, E5. So, intermunicipal development plan. So this is a hefty chunk of work that we're gonna have to get underway, obviously. Did you want to go to Carrie for some comments on that one? Timelines, how much is involved, so on and so forth, and where we actually see us gaining some time.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Maybe just CAOs can chime in first.
Yes, please.
So, yeah, so I think we know we have to get this done. The thought perhaps is maybe the next IMC after the election can look at the terms of reference. And at that point, we could scope it out and timeline it out. Where the Council of Diamond Valley is at is, we know our next big push is the land use bylaw. We also know how important the IDP is. So if the next IMC that met in the fall could put that terms of reference together, then we would have the planners chime in on that and decide on the work plan. You'll just let Brian speak too, and then Gary has comments or counterparts too.
Yeah, no, that was a discussion that CAO Davey and myself had earlier, was to perhaps consider looking at the recommendation at the end of the report and starting with that terms of reference. Something that our staff could collaboratively work on together, just to put some timelines and goals and objectives of that process on paper to come back to future IMC meeting as Adam mentioned, for consideration. But we'll have to take a look at resources, I believe, for both organizations and where this project fits in our overall list of priorities for our funding folks. And we've got a number of things on the go at the county, and Adam's indicated you guys have much of the same here. It's a priority to get the IDP done, but maybe we should lay all of that out and have the IMC decide whether there's perhaps some consultant support required or additional capacity with that forward.
If I may, yeah, I think, I mean, it was great that county offered to lead the charge, but consultants, pick them apart. It's always good, because it is going to be a hefty amount of work, but we don't want to have this too far out either, especially when we have the development interest in the area coming hard. So it's, unfortunately, it's a joint basket all being dumped at the same time. So any way we can find efficiency in developing that, that's going to definitely help. But I think administrations have some pretty deep thoughts on that. Hey, Drew?
Yeah. I think Foothills County planning staff has a bit of capacity to take on. There's terms of reference themselves. There was a lot of work that was done in 13 and 15, or up till 15.
Okay.
So I think we have a good baseline of where we're at, and a good starting point. I don't think that was a waste of work that was done. Unfortunately, it did cease to proceed, but gives us a good starting off point. So I think it kind of depends on whether the town has capacity, but we are wanting to prioritize this so that we can efficiently review and respond to things within the town and not hold you up. So it can become a priority, great.
So do you think you got capacity?
Well, we're not gonna take it on ourselves.
Yeah, okay, good. That's what I was looking, like, get some assistance in there so you're not drowning.
Yeah,
Good.
so it depends on what, what kind of staff power the town can put in as well.
Okay.
But certainly, to get the terms of reference going, that'll outline what sort of workload we're looking at.
And so our next IMC post-election will be, what, November? Or is that too soon for new councils?
I don't think so. We can Yeah, push it. That's-
Early December.
Yeah, I think the sooner we get it going, we've got a lot of groundwork to do to get to that IMC, the requirements that the province is mandated. So,
Okay. Well, you know,
Curious if, like, I know what our MDP costs, how equivalent costs do you guys know on IDP with a consultant?
So through the chair, if I may,
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
part of the scoping and drafting the terms of reference will be a really important part of determining, how much work is in front of us. Our team knows I do not have capacity to take this on. My team does not have capacity to take this on.
Yeah.
1/5 of our town is under active application. So
Yeah.
It's a lot right now. We will be looking at finding additional support, likely through a consultant. So once we have that scope in place, it'll be easier to put it out to RFP, which would be a requirement of our purchasing policy.
But are these harder than a MDP or easier
Like-
cost wise?
Same.
Because cost usually is reflection on how hard they are.
Isn't it work than an
It
MDP?
should be.
Municipal development on for us is quite robust
Yeah.
to do. But
Yeah.
I would mirror that comment. Just they're not as intensive, but we also have the existing one in place. So there's certainly lots of it that's out of date, doesn't reference the right land.
Yeah.
Or municipalities for that sake.
Yeah.
But
I
it does
agree.
exist, so it's not a full recreation. I don't know the scope of your municipal development plan being the first one for the town. Was probably a pretty large project.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't need to be huge, but it needs to be reviewed and brought up to date certainly. So again,
Okay.
Yeah, my preference would be absolutely pay a consultant and get it done, but we just need to build a budget for it. But then our staff does still have to review it. If we appreciate what they're going through with 2 land use bylaws for each half of town that say different things. And so when a developer comes in and says, well, I can do it on this side, but I can't do it on that side, and you can appreciate what planning is going through right now. So our land use bylaw is definitely our priority this next term. But if we can use consultant support, and plan it well out and budget for it, we know it needs to be done.
So,
yeah, we have a good base, I think, to work off of, and it's just a matter of updating it, I think. So I think that's maybe a good cost saving for all of us rather than starting right from scratch.
Well, if we can find what we had from 2015 or whatever it was, and
Yeah, we would have to have all of it.
yeah, we have most of those
Yeah,
resources. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so we could get a cost from.
Yeah, and I should just clarify, Mr. Chair, for the committee, when I referenced consultants, I wasn't suggesting that we would need consultants, just saying that we start with the terms of reference, create the scope for the project, look at what the work was already done. Some of that may need some updating from a public consultation point of view. But that would inform the committee as to whether we'd be looking at budget line items, for consulting support or not. Come that time, maybe there is capacity in both of our organizations to take on whatever that scope of work is in terms of reference. But just wanted to clarify, I wasn't suggesting we have to find consultants. It just may be a recommendation or a request from the administrations.
yes, no, that makes sense. Our heads right now are just purely, we would go consultant on anything that we fish out because we know we're at bust. So for us, the word consultant is an automatic at this point, right? But yeah, so let's put it in for agenda item for the next IMC meeting. to have terms of reference discussed.
Well, I think there's a suggested motion in here.
Yeah. Let's throw her down.
Which
That one must be on the scroll away.
yeah, it's on page 93 of 94, so the second last page. 6.0 recommended motion. The intermunicipal committee recommends that both administration collaborate on drafting in terms of reference for the purposes of undertaking a review and update to the intermunicipal development plan. The draft terms of reference would be considered by the intermunicipal committee at the first IMC meeting after election this fall. I do really worry about getting carry terms of reference working on. Is that reasonable?
Yeah, terms of reference is, what's the scope of the thing? I think that we can work through that pretty efficiently.
And I think we already have that base started, as Drew indicated, and we just need to update it. So I think we've got a real leg up here on some of this. We tried to start that a while ago, so I think we're there, but if you guys can give us a report if we have any, if we need to do any hiring after that, if we have any gaps that we need to look at, but I think we've got the good base already started.
Yeah, I'm happy to make that motion.
Great.
Okay, excellent. Any other comments? All in favor? Good, excellent. And then this last agenda item, I don't even know when I mentioned joint communication to Alberta Transportation, but I know with the, it's a conversation we have to have. And it needs to happen sooner rather than later. And IDP and all the planning that is going into the surrounding area of the community is going to affect the MD. And we have to be ahead of transportation in our plan. Or at least they have to be seen right in, because if we create choke points, then I can see that's where a major concern of all our residents are with Folks Crossing's proposal. You have one choke point. If anything happens there, the entire community is cut off other than taking back roads around. So what that looks like, I don't know. But we needed to put it on the table to talk about, because your planning's aware, our planning's aware, our community's aware, your community's aware, and our council is definitely concerned about transportation and choke points and what that egress from the community looks like. We've got 5 exits, which is fine, but one's a dead end. But still, what does it look like? When do we want to really get them in a room and say, look, we're about to move on all these key components? What do they have? Because the 50-year build-up shows a bypass that's circumvents the entirety. Is that still valid? Is it not? Right? So we haven't really sat down with them. In 12 years I've been with the council, I think I've sat in twice at the AUMA's annual get-together, right?
Where did they plan to do this? Circumvent?
It was a double lane that came up by Millerville and then over
Good.
somewhere, and it totally.
A lot of hills,
Yeah, they just blow it up.
And the town businesses really want to be bypassed.
Well, this is why it becomes such a huge debate of reality. Are they being realistic or not? Right? Some people think that a bypass would be great because then we become the Sleepy Hollow that people are going to take the one off and come visit. Others will turn, that's how you kill it downtown. Mm-hmm. And so the debate goes both ways. And it's almost like 50-50 if you talk to anyone who's roughly in the know of business or roughly in the know of tourism. They both have total different aspects. So what would be the process that we want to follow in terms of this communication? What do we want it to look like? That's really why I put it there, because I don't have that answer. I have my own thoughts on it, but I guess I'd look to planners to say, what's the best way to go ahead with notifying them of all the changes that we have coming and creating the smoothest egress and entry into town, or gateway, as everyone likes to say. So I don't know. Carrie, Drew, either one of you, I'll take that. comment for sure. But you have to rock, paper, scissors for whoever gets to speak first. And it's 2 out of 3.
So, if I may through the chair,
You
there
don't
was,
You didn't play.
there was a comment brought up at our MDP public hearing about that the town needs to communicate more with AT, and I had to chuckle about that a little bit because I think we send like 5 things a day to AT,
Yeah.
and for the most part, they're very responsive to us. The MDP went to AT. We got comments back in 2 different rounds. So that's a good way to notify them of changes. They've, at least somebody there has read the MDP, whether that trickles up or not. I don't know. I don't work there. Similar with an IDP, it would be circulated for review and comment.
Right.
In terms of the collaborative nature working forward, I don't think AT has money. I haven't seen it in their budget. So the struggle is, what do we want from them? What can they actually give to us? And what in that whole conversation is reasonable would be, to me, the focus is what's reasonable moving forward. And what do we actually want?
Drew has agreed with everything you just said.
I'm nodding along. In our experience, Alberta Transportation, they are good at responding. They are very reactive though. So it is so developer driven. It's difficult to create a plan when you don't know timing or phasing or capacity, things like that. So and they're often with the budget, it's always sure, go ahead and propose a plan and we'll tell you whether it works or not. It's never, is this okay?
Yeah.
They want us to tell them if it's okay or if it's no risk. So
I guess, yeah, go ahead, Barb, and then I'll go to Lana.
Yeah, my big concern is if you have a bottleneck, how do you get fire? You know, anybody in there, if there's a disaster and you've got this bottleneck and this smoke way in advance, like it is a huge problem.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've thought of something.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with Lana Branson. In our experience in the county, we build it and then they come.
Mhm.
It's almost, they're forced to deal with a bad issue and it's like after the fact. So I think it's always beneficial to start the conversation ahead. And if you can identify a certain ask that you want, like an additional road access, that they like that better. You need to pinhole exactly what you're looking at, because if you send them the overall plan, they review it and go, yes, that's nice, but it's like Highway 7 until it becomes a major traffic issue where it's become a hazardous road and we're almost there. We start advocating and usually we find in 5 years after starting the lobbying is finally when we get something. It takes a long time for them to do the engineering, their studies, put it into their budget, and then finally filter those things down to municipalities and how everybody's going to pay for it. So I think it's, if we can outline and give them suggestions of what you think you might want and what we need and what's being anticipated, that's gives them something to work for and plan. And then it's, as you know, some hard lobbying sometimes with our MLAs to get some of these things to them. I speak from experience on the traffic lights at the Honey Farm corner, because that was a 5-year lobbying project for me. And it took that long to get their attention.
That's exactly the spot I was thinking about when you speaking of the lobbying efforts and when it's a problem, how long it takes. Because I can foresee a problem just looking at the construction lines again. Bennington area of Deerfoot was a nightmare for years. All of Airdrie, I just carpet blanket all of Airdrie. Cochrane, same thing. And we've got ample public feedback, what our proposed community use that works, what that could look like, and I 100% agree. We have an absolute issue if we don't have the word access and egress. So I think we need to be ahead. So reactive versus thoughtful planning, that's really it. And yeah, transportation is reactive. So I'd rather try and get ahead of it. Ounce prevention is a pound of cure. Just something to identify.
It's interesting when I lived in Arizona, just outside, just outside of Phoenix. Way back then, and that was 70s. They had all the infrastructure going out of all these places built in the middle of nowhere. And all there was desert, and all you'd see is an overpass and nothing else. They do it all ahead of time, like, and then, so you plan around where they put these overpasses, but they were all over Phoenix, wherever you went out. If you're driving in the country and you wonder, there's nothing there but overpasses. So it's interesting how down there, the state puts these all in, and then you figure out how you're going to do it. Well, here it's build and then get the province to build.
Perhaps if we, Mr. Chair, have sit down and take a look, make some suggestions, and we come back with where your choke points are, then between the two municipalities, we could start a lobbying from both of us. I think, I know with having Okotoks on side with satellites helped us pay for it. And so I think we need to start that soon. If we can identify, because I know when I take things to transportation, we specifically say, we need this. That's what they try to budget for. We can almost start there.
And I do know, Steve mentioned how on the assessments coming out east of town, how they're dotted lines and then kind of pass on those lines. That would be a lot safer if that was a solid line. That would be with a.
Did we not write a letter to asking them? I thought we did. We did. I thought we did. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
We better check and see if that actually went in and got written.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we follow up on that on our end too to see.
And I think it's
recall
just speaking the importance of having an IDP, an MGP, and having the because the developers just want to come in and do it as two place must. We have to have the oversight working together on what we actually need. Some intersections.
Yeah, if we haven't got a letter on that, if we can draft a joint letter, I'd be happy to sign jointly with council. Sure, council, we kind of brought it up a little bit. I'm sure they said yes, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that S turn is going to be something else. As we go.
It's always been.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's like the lights at 3:15, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we've had our ample deaths and head-ons that turn.
So yeah.
So it's definitely something that I'd rather be thoughtful and ask them, let them know we have an issue. We want to flag it now because the IDP, this could be the perfect precursor to it. We know there's going to be an issue. Let's get that sent. So we're working on the document, but we need to make sure that we get away straight from it. Something. But I want sort of community flows because you're not getting home sooner if you got to get stuck in that same trial. Right? And you're doing backwards. Right? So
I avoid that. So I go to my so.
Well, at least RJ says that they're looking at the third. So
Yeah, I think I put in the ask 10 years ago.
yeah,
They said, no, not for 25 years. Are we going to upgrade that highway? So
time flies when you're in politics. All right. Well, okay, that was great. Perfect. So we'll let planning kind of beat that around a bit and maybe we'll get a letter It just says, as we move forward into IDP and approvals of future growth plans, we suspect this area will be concerned. Yes, exclusions, something to that effect. All right, nothing for closed session. No motions arising. Next date to be determined, or did you guys have one you wanted to lock down? Is that the meeting councils?
We'll come up with a suggestion and you guys send us some dates and maybe we'll from there. Sure. We can put it in and then just get a place.
November.
Yeah.
Yes, elections are October 20th, so yeah, that's within a month. Yeah, when it's work meeting, it follows.
The word meeting's October 29th.
Yeah, that's pretty soon.
November 17th.
Oh, yeah. It's, Alberta meetings. Prior.
There you go, too.
No, it's going to
start in November.
Yeah, 100%. There you go. Well, that's good because
Learning curve.
maybe there's some chance of some of those right there. And
There
then,
you go.
but
Yes.
is there anything else on your mind? Oh, by the way. Right? And that's kind of starts, right? Oh, by the way, something we wanted to think about. And that's all we need. Awesome, guys. Excellent. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Yeah.